Bino was Barbino. Zeke Black is in the building. Zeke Black is in the building. Shout out to East Harlem, man. Definitely shout out to West Side St. Louis. The thumbnail. The thumbnail's the biography book of Teflon Don. I think the book's gonna be a great book. If he had, but it's gonna bring back a lot of things in the past. You know, positive stories, probably some. You know, but that's that man's story. And one of the greatest things is that when a person does not, you know, sometimes to keep it funky and keep it real, a lot of people will just go with what they think is clout. And one thing I'm gonna say about Teflon, man, is that he's not with the clout thing. So I spoke to Teflon yesterday. He gave me a call, and there was some fact checking. You have to check the facts. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, you have to check the facts. And you know, because his name is in these conversations. So you have your name in these conversations. You don't want to just have somebody to say anything and create brand new narratives. So there's a couple of facts that we're gonna have to have some disclaimers on. Because again, he's not trying to clickbait. You know what I'm saying? He's not chasing clout. He's not a clout chaser. The new words. You know what I'm saying? He has a story of his own, and he's keeping it as authentic as you can keep it. One of the first things was he didn't have a beef with E-Money Bags. There was a respect there. There might have been a situation here and there, but the mention of E-Money Bags was only because Prodigy mentioned it. It basically, somebody should have said something about what Prodigy said, but not in a negative manner about E-Money Bags. These guys are from the same neighborhood. So there's no issue between Teflon Don or the YGs going against E-Money Bags and the Live Squad. Like I said, it might have been a situation, but it wasn't a wake up, yo, when we catch some dudes slacking, this is what's gonna be popping up, this is what we're gonna do. Second, the Live Squad are not from Lawrenton, they're from 111th and Springfield Avenue. You know what I'm saying? You know, you don't want to put people in other zip codes because you just you hear Springfield Avenue, you automatically assume Springfield Gardens. But they're from Springfield Avenue, 111th. They're all from the same community. You know what I'm saying? Definitely shout out to Majesty, the Live Squad. And the third thing is shout out to all the homies that was on 1B that was putting it in, like Ty Guns and a host of them. When they moved them to 1 South, even though it was 1B gangsters, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They turned up when they got to 1 South. Again, Magoo, you know, Rollo, and G Money. So just, you know what I'm saying? Just because we're not here to freestyle. We're not here to clickbait John Doe was popping. We're dealing with a man's testament story. His story. And that's what you want. You want somebody who's not just gonna say it then he clickbait. He actually gave Wildcat his accolades. So Wildcat was put in pain. You know what I'm saying? And a bunch of other people was put in pain. You know what I'm saying? So definitely shout out to the homies that was in 1B that was put in pain as well. We can't forget about them. Like you know, the penitentiary at that time, you always had gangs and religious gangs, whatever you want to call it, in the penitentiary. But at this time, it's a brand new movement. It's the Latin Kings. You got the Bloods. You know what I'm saying? You got the Yetas. You got a new culture of ganging. You know what I'm saying? A whole new culture of ganging, of gang being in the penitentiary. And what you want to do is everybody's fight is to get out of jail. Some guys had long stretches. They had new cases popping up on them, and it's just, you know, everybody wants freedom. And you know, sticking to the code it might keep you in jail a little longer. But when you get out, you have to enjoy your freedom. Like I said, Teflon Don's book, biography, isn't about clickbaiting. It's not about disrespecting nobody. And that's dope. Me and him have a great conversation. I spoke to him a few times. You know what I'm saying? We have to be on point when you speak on people's life stories. Because you say some wrong things, it can create. It takes away from the what's authentic, what's real and what's fake. And you need that nowadays. Because nowadays in the world of clickbaiting, you can't dictate what's real or what's fake. Now, it was a different time in Queens. You're probably, you know what I'm saying, there's some things going around, some conversations going around, and we're gonna check it out. We're gonna see what's going on. I heard, you know what I'm saying, I gotta check out some things, and we're gonna get back to even more content. You know what I'm saying? There's more conversations. And just to let you know, shout out to the live squad. You know what I'm saying? Definitely shout out to Stretch, because a lot of people try to make Stretch look less than what he was. But shout out to Stretch, you know what I'm saying? Everything definitely on one another from Springfield. You know what I mean? Second, the whole reason why Teflon was putting content up on his IG was because somebody was using his likeness that allowed something crazy to go down. Had nothing to do with the live squad. It just has to do with somebody trying to use his likeness that led to cooperating. That sort of, you know what I'm saying, think about it, sent him in jail. Got him caught up. To certain rapper. And I like the fact that, you see, he could have clickbait. Yo, son, let's say son name. No, you're not doing that. And that's how you handle that. Because we come from a different cloth, a different generation, a different cloth. You still had sucker MCs, you still had suckers, but we come from a different cloth. Now, talking about Glaze, talking about the cloth, Brian Glaze Gibbs, with his rebuttal to Bimmy, said some things about Preem, how Preem could have still been free. I listened to the video he said about the Fat Cat bombing situation. You know, it's crazy. Like, they said they gave Cat's mother address to the guys, to some guys that had beef with him, but they didn't give Cat's mother address. That's one hell of a chess game. You know, you kidnap Cat's baby mother or girlfriend, whatever the case may be, in Long Island. But you gave Cat's baby to some dudes that had beef with Glaze, and basically 2 of Fat Cat relatives passed away. That's ill. You know what I'm saying? He was making mentions of renegade guards. Some guard bodies he had war with that was knee deep in the streets. And I'm listening like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Fat Cat took one hell of a chance dealing with him, you know what I'm saying? And another thing is, you know, I still don't get why is he mad at Bimmy over the Vlad interview if Bimmy been saying the same story in like 30 interviews. The same narrative. Bimmy don't really switch up. It's like the same mixtape. You listen to Bimmy and every other platform, you ask him certain questions. It's just that now you probably came up more so Glaze because of you've been on Vlad. You know what I'm saying? So, Bimmy says the same story. You know what I'm saying? I never seen a different Bimmy story. He says basically the same things. Sometimes even he had to retract some things because he says something about Preem and that just went crazy on Queen's Flip, something happened. You know what I'm saying? But overall, man, you know, we have to be, you know, hearing these stories. Like I told you, it's hearing these stories from the era, man. Is so deep, man, and it's so intense. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Hold on. You know what I'm saying? It's so intense, man. But one thing we are gonna say though, right, is that they both knew the participants, most of the participants that was involved with Officer Edward Burns. Hold on one second. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let's get there, man. It's a dirty game, man. I just had it too. It's crazy. I just had it. Hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on one second, party people. But this definitely changed the game, man. And you know, that TNT era was dangerous in New York. I'm gonna be honest with you. The TNT era was dangerous. It was definitely dangerous. Hold on one second, man. Just had it. Hold on one second. You gotta work with me on this. I just had this thing in my hand, man. Okay, here it is. All right. Convicted cop killer denies he laughed at rookie officer Burns' 1988 execution. Now, this is 8 years ago. Scott said he never laughed after Officer Burns was shot. Transcripts released by the New York State, remember this is from 8 years ago, New York State Department of Corrections from the parole hearings of two convicted cop killers revealed one of them denied laughing, yes, at the February 1988 shooting scene in Jamaica, Queens after rookie NYPD officer Edward Burns was shot 5 times in the head. Scott said things to save his own life, told Scott. Scott Cobb said things to save his own life, told Todd Scott, now 45 years old, told the parole commissioner by video conference from the Wendy Correction Facility in upstate New York. Scott Cobb was the confessed getaway driver, and Todd Scott admitted that his own job was to distract a 22-year-old officer who was sitting in his patrol car outside the home of a witness at 3:30 a.m. on February 26, 1988. The parole commissioner quoted from Cobb's horrifying 1988 confessions, where he claimed Todd Scott laughed on Inwood Street after the shooting. I seen the cops' brains come out. I never said that, told Scott. The commissioners in November 13th hearing, we never said nothing when we went back to the car. Todd Scott was 19 when the Burns assassination took place, and he acknowledged the gang was acting on orders from a jailed drug enforcer. Peace to the guards. The crack cocaine kingpin in South Jamaica, Queens, Lorenzo Fat Cat Nichols, had recently been sentenced to 25 to life. His chief lieutenant, Howard Pappy Mason, gave the orders for their hit after Mason was thrown in jail by local cops. Todd Scott said of Burns, he wasn't the original intended target, but it was him. Him being there was convenient, as somebody planned it up, and we went there. Scott also made claims that the drug gangs used to bribe law enforcement investigators until a new narcotics team was put in place. There were officers who was getting paid to tell us when there was going to be a bust. Then there was a new drug task force formed, so these same officers couldn't help us, with information. So now, with the new drug task force, they was coming down on us. 2 months after the Burns execution, Todd Scott acknowledged that he shot a woman in the chest on 157th Street in Queens after he'd accused her of stealing drugs and money from him. There is no platform for me to offer an apology to the families, to present my remorse for them. Scott said, even if they don't accept it, you know what I'm saying? I would like to offer that to them. David McCleary, J-Mo Styles was popping. Good old David McCleary, and an alleged associate of blind Glaze Gibbs. The alleged in some documents, it's the documents flowing in the dirty streets that David McCleary told Brian Glaze Gibbs that they hit personally, face to face, or on the phone, came from Pappy Mason. And allegedly, Brian Glaze Gibbs told the feds that the hit definitely came from Pappy. That's in some alleged paperwork until this man produces another document that can dispute that. That's just the allegations that's out there. And I must put allegedly on it because paperwork could be doctored up sometimes. You know what I'm saying? We know that happened. So I can put that on that. But Bimmy did say David McCleary was running with Glaze. Bimmy did say that on Vlad. The paperwork says the same thing. That was his man. He didn't say Todd Scott. He didn't say Uncle J. He didn't say Kumo D. He ain't say Busy B. He said David McCleary. All right. David McCleary. These are his words. I can't lie and say I was remorseful in the beginning, Scott said, because I didn't recognize what remorse was. It had to be shown to me, through my family and the workers here in corrections. Part of the rehabilitative process of getting me to change my way of thinking and how I act. A lot of people don't take into account that I was young when that happened, so I was still beginning life and really didn't have a grasp of what was right and wrong. Scott said, that doesn't take away from any responsibility of what I did, accountability of my actions. Scott insisted that accomplice David McCleary was the shooter that night, even though McCleary had denied being the gunman at his own parole hearing at the Attica Correctional Facility. Scott Todd. This is David McCleary. Scott Todd, 08A 80 89A 8015, denied, 11/2014. I am telling you, I did not kill him. I did not pull that trigger, McCleary said to Byrne. McCleary, now 50, claimed he was in the getaway car around the corner. Damn, he still got all that time to told. When the shooting took place, and that he never knew who the gunman was. At trial, McCleary was convicted of being a shooter. Parole was recently denied for both men more than 26 years after Officer Burns was assassinated. It was their second appearance before parole commissioner. They will have to wait another 2 years to try again. Officer Burns' older brother, Lawrence, now the Deputy Commissioner for Legal Matters with the NYPD, said he would speak on the late brother's behalf at every parole hearing. For their part, Todd Scott and David McCleary said to commissioners they will hope to work with at-risk youth if they ever was released. But the commissioners said of both, there is a reasonable probability that you would not live and remain at liberty without again violating the law if released. Of McCleary, they added, your explanation that you didn't know who was the shooter strains credibility. Now, get old David, the getaway driver. Did you know who shot son such and such? We don't know. He wasn't in the car. The only thing that we can probably say is, why lie to yourself? You know what was said to you when he got back in the car. You didn't see it, but you know. So now it's time for your freedom, and it's deep because you're living by this code. Unless you're just completely stupid. Because you're the getaway car driver. You actually told on something that you didn't see. Not David McCleary, the Todd Scott guy. You know what I'm saying? That Todd Scott. Nope, let me get it right. That's Scott Carl. I guess David McCleary, they said he was a shooter, and he said he wasn't a shooter. Let me say that right. David McCleary, they said he was a shooter, but he said he wasn't. Of course, that's a smart move. I didn't shoot the cop. But 30 years later, fuck it, I shot him. I was young. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna go to jail for him saying this as his parole board. You know what I'm saying? It's over. He's been in jail for like 30 years. At some point, right, things change. People change, laws change, society changes. If you guys aren't paying attention, there's more liberals in different positions now. There's more voices now. There's more people that's gonna fight for you because they see things differently. They grew up in these struggles. They got Fat Cat. He made his parole board, and he's one of the reasons why parole is the way it is now. Because allegedly he locked the parole officer up. And in a couple of summers, Fat Cat is liable to be walking the mean streets of South Jamaica, Queens. So at some point, man, there has to be accountability for your actions. Sometimes some people don't like to take accountability for their actions. So this is why they have these stumbling blocks that hold them back. You know, it takes a lot for somebody that's really in the streets, not just hustling, but somebody that was living a violent life in the streets, to speak about such crimes, such murders, such shootings, such stabbings, so much violence when they was young. Because some people don't want to believe the truth. But once you find peace with oneself, you're able to speak about these things. I mean, David McCleary, we don't know who shot the cop or not. But you was there. Thanks to the man, Todd Scott, not Todd Scott, whatever old boy name was. And that's a problem in our community. When do we begin to realize what's right and what's wrong, right? You know, we have these platforms, we speak about the powerful things, man. We see the thing that's going on with Bimmy, and you know, I thought Glaze was just mad at Bimmy because he mad at Nas because you told you. And I see what you're doing. You're putting a lot of, but you've been doing it, so we can't say that you're just doing it now. But you're putting out a lot of content about your experiences with the Supreme team, and also as well as you know, Supreme. seen a video you did yesterday about Preem. And you know, it's easy for a lot of us to say, why would Preem put himself in harm's way? See, Scott Cobb, yep, Scott Cobb, yep. Thank you. Scott Cobb. But one thing y'all gotta admit, you're always there on the crime scene. You know what I'm saying? So Scott Cobb, the getaway driver, he only recited what y'all were saying on the way there and on the way back. You know, we speak about, I'm gonna touch on a couple of things. Let me get back to the get down. It's easy for us to say, yo, why would Preem get back in the game? He's running with Def Jam Records. James S. is in the building. Salute. He's running with Def Jam Records. He's a part of Murder Inc., Def Jam. Why would he put himself in the situation to get natural life? Why? Because he still had an attachment to the streets. Probably before he got with Irv, there was still an attachment to the streets. You know what I'm saying? His attachment to the streets. So Preem's attachment to the streets a little bit with the Rest in Peace Black Just situation created a drama. We don't know the drama. We wasn't around the drama. We just going off of what magazines is saying, or what certain dudes in the streets is saying. We know that 2 men died, Black Just and E Money Bags. We do understand that, right? Two men died. E Money Bags. I'm not talking about the others. The main 2. You know, Preem was one of the lucky ones in the game. I believe he caught like 2 cases. He caught a state case and a fed case or whatever. One of them cases got. I know he was lucking up without having to cooperate on nobody. But the last strike, you couldn't get rid of that. The last one was, he finally got you. You have to think, right? When police pulls him over and they run his name, that don't know him, oh, that's just Kenneth McGriff. But you got a cop that's older that's gonna run his name and look and go, yo, that's Supreme from the Preem team. A guy that's of our age. And some cops might take honor to that shit. Like, yo, that's Preem. You know what I'm saying? Yo, some South Jamaica Queens. Yo, salute. I mean, Preem, don't get it twisted, had a street algorithm like Alpo. He just ain't tell. This Preem story for days. There's dudes they got a million Preem stories. So let's not get that misconstrued. It's easy for us to say, yo, why was he still in the game or playing around in the game and get himself caught up? Because he's human and he's still supreme. 90% of his life, he's been supreme. 90% of his life, he had to be supreme. He gets to the bag legally, but he's still Preem. He's all right with driving around with 10, 30,000 in his car. He's all right with telling police, yo, son, I give you 5 racks, let me go. He's okay with driving around with a gun. You know what I'm saying? He's okay with that. You understand what I'm saying? He's okay with that. Because he's been supreme 90% of his life. Even in jail, he had a chance. He was still supreme. See, a lot of these other guys that cooperated, they had a chance to change because you can't be you no more. Because in the underworld, in the penitentiaries, you can still act like you, but you know you're gonna be shunned by some. Some people are gonna talk behind your back. Some people are gonna look at you funny. Some dudes are gonna pull stunts and act like they checking you. Yo, he's a snitch. He's a rat. This is what the streets do, man. So then you're forced to pick the Bible up and go to Protestant services. You're forced to go, go to Allah, put your Muslim garbs on. Inshallah, subhanallah, Allahu Akbar. Because it's okay. You get a chance to repent. But when you're praying, you don't have that option because you still gotta be supreme in jail. You still gotta get the package. You still gotta have to get, because he's been supreme all his life. Think about this. When Supreme was was in his early 20s, he was making hip-hop money on corners. When rappers was getting paid $200-300 to perform, when he was booking rappers to perform, he'd take $500. He comes from that era. Have we forgot that? This is real talk because it ties into everything that I'm doing. When I speak to Teflon Don, I'm happy that he's really changed. He's doing the positive. But sometimes you have to speak to the world, man, and remind those that did you wrong. Let me remind you what you did to me. But sometimes, man, the penitentiary can save our life, man. Jail can save us. I mean, it's so easy, man. See, Irvin never really went through that before. So now they going through it with the feds. This is all legal money. Like, yo, this is some legal. The feds is on my back over something that's legal. But you gotta make sure your books are straight. You know what I'm saying? See, if I made a show based off of Glaze telling it takes away from the conversation. Just understand the difference between Glaze and Preem. Glaze in the penitentiary, he was still whatever. He did 5 years or 6 years, whatever he did, he had a chance to change. He could have came back to the streets and flipped the break, but I guess he didn't. He went the change route. And now he gets paid for telling his stories. Right? Then you get Preem, who's been Preem all his life, who's been said to be the leader. Supreme has been said to be the leader of the clique, not the lieutenant, not the worker, not the lookout, but the boss. So you're telling me it's easy? Could somebody please tell me here, is it easy for him not to be Preem no more? Let's say Chaz, let's piece Chaz not being Chaz no more. So even in a legal situation, he still had to be the thinker. He still had to be the boss. When I think about Cop Shot, right, when I hear these stories, man, who is this right here? This is their 8 years ago parole board. This is old boy, one of them, I guess one of the cop killers. This is deep, man. And that was a generation of, you gotta understand the generation that was from. A lot of people wasn't jacking police back then. This is way before the Rodney King thing. You gotta remember, these guys come from a more revolutionary type of time where the police was called pigs. The police was the enemies. When your mother told you, whatever you do, don't bring Whitey to my door. Not the streets told you that. Your mama told you that. Grandma told you that. Whatever you do, don't bring Whitey to my door. So you couldn't go to school and act crazy. You couldn't do because you couldn't bring the white man to the door. So as these guys grew up, some dudes just had a hatred for that type of authority. Because that's just how it was for certain households. Not all, but for certain households. What y'all just think the only revolutionaries was the Black Panthers? There was many others. The story gets so deep, man. And I'm not even trying to clickbait Glaze. So just to let y'all know that, I'm not trying to clickbait the man. I just see that because in Nas situation, he's making this content and he's speaking about his time with the Supreme Team and situations. And I guess they did mention him in Vlad, and he just has to mention his rebuttal. But like I said before, there's so many Supreme Team members, so many people in the community that was a part of that revolution. They don't really need your input. Even though you was one of the top echelon in the Fat Cat crew. Because nobody can take that from you. They can't take that from you. They may not like you. They may some dudes might say, well, he wasn't around in the beginning but they can't take that you was part of the top echelon. But it's okay to let it go, man. Me, like I told you, I don't know Bimmy personally. So don't think that dude's just trying to just throw smear on your name. You said you told. This is what you said. So it's not a smear campaign, dogs. It's not. It's not a let's get him. Now, leaving that alone, man. Looking at some of the discovery that Teflon Dawn posted, it's sad, man. When the people that's telling on you is people that you know. You sit in the penitentiary and dudes that you know is hanging out with dudes that told on you. And then it gets so disgusting that dudes that told on you or played a part to the reason why you got told on or in podcasts or whatever, yo, that was my man. He was getting busy. Like, if it wasn't for what you did to him, son, then he would never did to me. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that. I'm just saying this is how the game goes, man. So the streets is a dirty game, man. The streets is definitely not a myth. There's never a winner in the streets. Out of 1,000, there might be one. It's either death, the penitentiary, or dying, or living an old, twisted life with a bunch of war stories. Don't ever get that misconstrued for nothing at all. Do not. Let's remember this, man. Why was Jay-Z tried to save him, and he tried to save him. Then they go, well, how come Bimmy ain't like them? You know why Bimmy ain't like them for? Because Bimmy, at a young age, he went on tour with Run DMC. He got to see something different. So even though the bag was coming, he got to see something different. And as he's seen hip-hop growing, because Run DMC was one of the biggest rap groups in the world. Remember, Walk This Way was a classic. That brought them around the world because the group they did it with. So Bimmy like, yo, this hip-hop thing got potential. Yo, what's up? They getting booked for $10,000. Getting booked for $10,000 a show, probably, I don't know the actual price, but say $10,000 a show in 1984 was $1 million. They're talking about how money was in America. So even though, but he had the option. Bimmy had the option. So when Bimmy had his speed of life, running around crazy, Whitney Houston bailing him out, all the stuff, his story, he found the way into this hip-hop thing. His connections, knowing Russell. So why wouldn't Bimmy work for Def Jam? Think about this. If he went on tour with Run DMC and allegedly LL Cool J is the first star of Def Jam Records other than the Beastie Boys, one of the first ones, shout out to T. La Rock though. I believe T. La Rock was down with Def Jam, one of their first artists. Right? Sucker MC made them, Sucker MCs took them to another place. My Adidas took them to another place. I'm the King of Rock took them to another place. Walk This Way made them viral. That's the words that we use now. He was amongst those wolves. So when they go, well, how come Bimmy was able to transition? Because he was in it. From Russell's beginning. He was around it. Yeah? Exactly. So he was there for that. He was there for I Got a Beat, radio. He was there for that shit. Running with them. Still in the street, but you know, yo, Russell, yo. So he had a stuff. So when you hear that, people like Bimmy, yo, how's he in hip hop? Like, cause he's been, if you listen to his story, he's been there for a lot of Run DMC's beginning. So that's why he was able to mature a little, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna fall back into this hip hop money. And I'm not, and Bimmy's not stupid. He probably executive produced some tracks. He probably got his hands in some of these biggest hits that's being played on the radio at that point in time. He probably got his hands in because he probably was in the studio when he was making the beat. He probably okayed the budget. He was an A&R, I believe, if I'm right. You know what I'm saying? Get my name on the credits. You know what I'm saying? Believe me, when dudes start to realize that credit game with that music, I won't be surprised if Bimmy name's signature is in a lot of these music credits. You know what I'm saying? For hit songs. You know what I mean? Money in your pocket, man. Russell put him in a position. Now, I would have thought when they tried to blame Def Jam Murder Inc. for being involved with the supreme drug money that created, I would have thought that Bimmy allegedly got caught in that one because Bimmy, you was there from the very beginning. We're talking about when, because Run DMC was on Profile Records. They wasn't on Def Jam. They were just being managed by their brother. Hold up, Run DMC's other viral song was that Christmas song. It's Christmas Time and Hollis Queens. Moms, you know what I'm saying? That's another joint that went viral worldwide. Yeah. Shout out to Double R. Shout out to Queens, you heard? Shout out to Wifey, Southern Belle. She want to check it. Know what I mean? We got to be very versed there. Peace to Gods and King, you know, from Push That Knife. Salute the P from Unstricken Mentality. You know, Jacob and all of them. You heard? In Clubhouse. I mean, Iced Out. Push That Knife. You know what I mean? You're going to follow me on Clubhouse. I'm Zeke Black. You can just follow me. I do shows here and there in Clubhouse. But I really fuck with definitely clout chasing. My man Big Chuck. Follow him on Clubhouse. Actually, it's funny. I was talking to Bimmy one day about some K Slade. Rest in peace, K Slade. It was a good conversation in Clubhouse. Because he had you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, don't get it twisted. There's options. Like Fat Joe had an option with Chris Lighty, and Chris Lighty showed him the light with the hip hop thing, and they stay consistent, and boom. Look where Fat Joe went from doing promo cards with Russell Simmons, not Russell Simmons, with Red Alert. Some of us watching him in that Lord Finesse video, look where he at now. You don't think he got jerked relatively with Flo Joe and all that? You don't think he wasn't getting Jay jerked? But he just wanted to get his voice out there, his likeness, and it works. Look at Fat Joe now. He's like the king of New York in the media, other than 50 Cent. Media guys. He's one of those when it comes to the media now. Shout out to Fat Joe. You know, Queens has a long history, long story. When you actually watch this documentary, it's only right that somebody from Queens do these Supreme Team documentaries. It's only right. It's only right. Brooklyn cats They in the building. You know what I'm saying? We can't forget about Brooklyn. We can't take them away from, you know, East New York, Cypress, city lines. Can't take them away from those Brownsville. We can't take them away from that what you call it, Northern Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? We can't take them away from them Liberty Ave and all that. Sutter Ave, Linden Boulevard, Pennsylvania. Can't take them away from them guys. Definitely can't. Definitely can't. Pink houses, Cypress, right? Boulevard. But every zip code has its own story. Every zip code has its own memories. Every zip code has its own dead homies. And every zip code got its own lifers. You got winners, you got losers. So before somebody sit there and go, allegedly, why would Preem with all this favor? Because he had to be supreme all his life. It takes a lot to go, yo, I'm going to go on tour with these guys and stop being Bimmy. I'm going to go on stage with them, I'm chilling. This ain't the block. This is Russell's show. I'm just here with these dudes. Compared to when you on the block, you calling shots, you getting your hands in the mix, and it takes a lot, man. Some people, it's hard to step away from who they are. Even some dudes that fell back from the game, they have to check themselves, like, I'm not that same person no more. We see what happened to Alpo. He crashed out because he couldn't stop being Alpo. Just like Reed said, he was Albert, but more so seen the light, then came home and seen all the love he got and became Alpo again. And he couldn't turn that off. There wasn't no Electric Records, Atlanta Records. There was, I'm Alpo. I'm going to ride around on motorcycles. I'm going to slap somebody. I'm going to talk crazy. I'm going to throw pies in people's face. That's the part that we got to see. And what happened, what came with that is jail saves some people's lives, man. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Jail, the penitentiary could save your life, right? So now we speak about Poe. Poe, you played in the streets is what happens. Whatever you still outside, whatever you're doing, you got some dudes who don't care about who you are. The last time that could have happened, but you just made it through. This time, it didn't happen that way. So so we say, why do people crash out for? Because they can't change who they are. They've been who they've been for so long. Preem could have been anything. He's a boss. He's a boss. He could have done anything, just fall back in the cup. But his name being Preem, he couldn't let certain things go past him. He couldn't allow it to go past him, party people. I can't let you keep dissing Ja Rule 50 Cent because my name is on this now. Disrespecting him is disrespecting me. Oh, I can't let that go by because that's disrespecting him is disrespecting me. And I remember that. That's, the Preem. So, there will soon be a guy, that's the book was written in 2006, Teflon Don. He doesn't really like to touch on the book stuff because it's a lot of things, good times, bad times, but it's his story. He didn't have a beef with E. They had whatever situation. It wasn't like E-Money Bags is this, E-Money Bags is that. A situation may have happened, but it was love. They was all right with each other. Everybody was all right. Live Squad and his crew, they was okay. There was in one South when he put it in. shout out to the homies that was in 1B. Everybody was in 1B. They opened up 1 South, and then it got crazy. Shout out to Google. Google went all the way. Actually, they said Google Blue Tribe on that situation. It was a revolution, man. The penitentiary was just a different time. And the live squad did for 111 Springfield. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I like. I like somebody who doesn't want to, he's not a clickbaiter. And when he wrote about the E-Money Bags movie theater thing with the Godfather, that had nothing to really do with E-Money Bags. It was more so, y'all let Prodigy write something in the book, and nobody never really checked that. Like, somebody really went to jail for that and did like 27 and a half years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, somebody went to jail for that. That was something that was serious. That wasn't no hip-hop. Because at that point in time, hip-hop artists started putting street facts in their rhymes and creating narratives. I only wish that, you know, a lot of our older rappers, they passed away for over senseless things. Like, we look at it as senseless, but some things are real. Like I just told you. You can't tell somebody who's been preem all their life not to be preem no more. It's just not going to happen. Now, it's just one to think about, man. You know, y'all witnessed me changing my content. And you just trust me, man. You know what I'm saying? It's still going to get greater. You're going to have more stories, more, you know what I'm saying? Shouts, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to my man, Gigi. Shouts to my man, Life. 113 Farmers Boulevard. You know, it's on the north side of Queens. For those that's not from the 5 boroughs, the north side of Queens, I'm speaking about now. He got some south side stories though. Shout out to my man Chopper, you know, Uncle Wop and all them. OG Charlie, you know, Old Big Soul Hood. You know, Southern Boulevard, man. 118th to 160th to 115th. You know, Rockaway Boulevard, the bricks and all that, 121 and all that, you heard? Shout out to my man, Ro. Roosevelt. Salute to the north side, man. It's a lot of history, man. Club Fantasy, you know, Q Club. I don't know, this Queens clubs that was real popular. Mercedes. You know, if you went to Jamaica, out of the Coliseum, Goats and all that, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stories, man. Back in the days, some of your famous rappers and famous DJs, you might have seen them in their humbling beginnings on Jamaica Ave by the Coliseum and all that. So with that being said, top of the morning, man. I hope y'all enjoyed this content I'm putting out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to switch it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate Tef because Tef is allowing me to, you know, you know what I'm saying? But he want me to do, you know, though. That's why, you know, I seen somebody do something, right? Top of the morning. I seen somebody do something, Glaze. And I sort of like what he do. Glaze writes down what he's going to say before he say it. So what happens is he's not, paper-wise, he's not freestyling. What happens is a lot of times we begin to talk, we don't write this stuff down, then we just say anything without being conscious. But what you might say might affect, what is he talking about? You know what I'm saying? You bugging, son. You don't want to create nothing that's negative. You understand what I'm saying? One of the realest things I heard this morning, I'm listening to this thing, is that Fat Cat's 2 family members, they didn't die because of Fat Cat, but they died because Glaze had beef with somebody, and his way of getting rid of whatever his way of, that's some his way of getting dudes to move on a certain individual, he gave the op the addy, like, yo, that's where son is at. But all in all, 2 people passed away, man. The streets is a dirty game. You got thinkers and you got non-thinkers. Who are you? Think about exactly. Sent to the wrong alley, son. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Yo, here, boom, boom, boom. I got the drop on son. Get him. That's what I know y'all want to. Yo. You can't get no more dirty than that. But all in all, my actual beef is with, or I was involved with, it's crazy, man. Grimy. But that's what dudes did back in the days. Those are the stories that you don't hear. The lineup, the grease balls, the greasiness. You don't hear those stories. I got beef with you. But I'm not going to put my freedom and my time on the line. But I know somebody was beefing with your man. Yo, here go the address. I got the addy where son is at. I know you want him dead, son. He right here in Queens. You know what I'm saying? Boom, word, get him. They don't kill him, but look who died. Fat Cat peoples. Direct family members. I don't know if Glaze is related to Fat Cat. I don't know that. Some people said that back in the days, but people say anything. You know what I'm saying? So, we got to be specifically mindful of the griminess that was going on before the internet. Out of all the wickedness that Fat Cat has done, parole officer died, baby mother died, killed the baby mom, girl pat gets shot up, he got hit, such and such got hit, all in Queens. Allegedly, the firebombing was over a beef that Glaze had. You know what I'm saying? That's wicked. That is crazy. And the beef that Glaze had was more so, it sounded like a Brooklyn beef. With the renegade guards, like he said. Yo, here, son, this is where son address is at. You don't think that's crazy? When people that allegedly Fat Cat was getting smoked off shot out the sky, was all this, the same zip code. if more so the next on the north side. Nothing to do with Fat Cat at all. That is crazy. You know what I'm saying? You don't think that's crazy? You don't think that's insane? Out of all the people that Cat allegedly got knocked off in the community, the firebomber was because some shit that Glaze had in Brooklyn. Yo, I'm gonna tell you, man. Yo. Opportunity's a motherfucker, man. You gotta watch who you gotta watch who you run these dirty streets with. You gotta watch who you have a friend. You gotta watch the things that you guys is doing. Like I told you, I can sit here for hours and read that paperwork 1,000 times. I'm listening to Glaze a little bit. Because now, listen to his more so, this is what he's saying. You gotta put your feelings to the side. I'm like, so wait a minute. So out of all the shit that Cat has done in his time, even before the stick-ups, wherever she was going to jail for all his life, all the ops he got running around Queens. He even brought a bunch of crazy cats out of Brooklyn, the Bebo or whatever, Pappy Mason, the rest of all this craziness, the firebombing. You know what I'm saying? And niggas said, here, I got the ad. Your man's on such and such. These niggas, he just gunning for Glaze. It's just how some things are by mistake facts, And some shit is just coincidence. You don't know who's who cousin. You don't know who's who people. You don't know the person who probably gave that Addy up. The person who gave the fake Addy probably had a beef with Cat. You know what I'm saying? But if I do it, they're going to know that we did it. They're going to kill my mother. That's how dirty the game is. Hey, I know what son is that. You know what I'm saying? And gave Cat address of, yeah, get Glaze. Mind you, Glaze got family running around Cyprus and all the Eastern, that whole little area. You know, this is dope. This shit is, yo, this is so calculated, man. You gotta hear this story. This is the part that's crazy. Niggas, these dudes know that Glaze got a cousin or aunt running around Cypress Projects, or at least Pink House, somewhere in that area. He got cousins in the style. He running around Brooklyn wild like a wild child. And the firebombing goes from Brooklyn to Queens. You know what I'm saying? I know Glaze is hiding out at. You know what I'm saying? Yo, you know. But Glaze wasn't hiding out. He was actually getting money in Queens. I know where he lived at. J. Hodges was popping. J. Hodges in the building. They said they hit the Queens. You know what I'm saying? They hit with the Queens. Because it wasn't about killing Glaze. It was about killing anybody in that house. He's in the house of the family. You don't give a fuck who in there. So it would have been a whole lot easier knocking on the door and just start shooting through the door, or just sitting in the lobby going, as soon as his brother come out the door, out the building, we're gonna rock his, we gonna tear his head off. You know what I'm saying? They hit one of the Queens. Y'all gotta think about this. You dudes be thinking this internet thing is deep. This is some street shit. Glaze was not hiding from nobody in Queens, in Brooklyn. He was getting money in Queens. He wasn't ducking and dodging. He wasn't wearing hoodies, paranoid in packed house like, yo, these dudes want me dead. He wasn't doing none of that. He was running around in cars getting money in Queens. Tell you, man. I don't know, Nas. Just some shit. A lot of people assumed that it was because of Cat that happened. We didn't know them. Hell yeah, that's just that alone. Think about what was just said. I had a beef with some cats, such and such kidnapped, what's the name, whatever, I had some beef. These are the renegade guards. Yo, but such and such, I had a beef with King of Law, whatever his name was, something of law, boom, and son, Addy, and sent them niggas to Cap Mother House. It's a dirty game. You know what I'm saying? The intel on that was, I said, I'll get rid of, yo, son. Yo, I think inboxes, and that's the illest, that was the illest thing is like, when the United States of America and Britain started dropping bombs, yeah, Lord Justice, they started dropping bombs in Germany. Germans couldn't believe it. Oh, because the Germans always want to act like nobody could get into their airspace. So they started dropping bombs on them. It sort of blew their mind because they used to get the terrorists and all this. So think about you firebombing somebody named Fat Cat Nichols' house. It's a dirty game, man. And 2 individuals passed away. Just imagine Glaze fucked up with this shit. Like, this shit could have happened in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? That's how you get a nigga hit for free. Oh, what? Yo, son, I got the drop. I know what such and such is that. Boom. That's how you get a nigga hit for free. That's how bad niggas want to Glaze. You know what I'm saying? What? Straight up, me in the house. One to think about, man. You know what I'm saying? Stay out the streets, get your shit together. Follow the Vlad interview. I told you the paperwork is dirty. It's a lot of the paperwork that's on Glaze, what I was reading from the Justice Department, just to let you know, was basically him pointing the police in the right direction. It wasn't so much that he was writing statements. He was just breaking shit down to them. Like, yo, this person, yeah, he the cop killer. He shielded the parole officer. That's where his girl live at. Whatever. That's how it's being written. Unless he can change that narrative, he can change that narrative. But he already said that he told already. So dead bodies are not. Yeah, dead bodies, but now but a lot of dudes that you did tell on, they're basically physically dead to the world. So you know what I'm saying? That's the only person I made out of that one so far is Fat Cat. You know what I'm saying? He might be home in 4 years unless he have a stroke somewhere. You know what I'm saying? That being said, party people, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for pulling up. It's another Queen story. Shout out to my man Teflon Dawn. I hope he released his book. And he wrote a lot, man. You know, to the dead man. That's the story he's sticking with. The actual statement he probably wrote was on the dead man. You know what I'm saying? But everything else is just pointing in all the right direction. But it's interesting hearing this grind bullshit, man. You know, Bimmy, I gotta give Bimmy credit, man. He made it out. You can't be mad at Bimmy. Bimmy made it out. He didn't got the 100 years. You know, he had a speed of life, and he made it out. Yo, my man from Mr. GM himself. You know what I'm saying? My man Marley from the GM family's in the building. Shout out to Marley Marl. My man Marley from the GM family. You know what I'm saying? Northside Queens, you heard? You know what I'm saying? Man Marley's in the building, man. Definitely shout out to the GM family. Dirty game out here. Yo, Marley, that shit is dirty. Yo, that's wicked. Yo, we got beef with such and such. He in Queens. Yo, you can you get a drop on him? You know what I'm saying? Word, I know somebody who know where he at. Word? That's nasty work, bro. You give Cat address up, but you're not saying get Cat. Nah, that's where Glaze is at. You know what I'm saying? But all in all, whoever gave the alley up, you know their whole thing was Cat. You know what I'm saying? That's how dirty the game is. Stay away from the streets, stay out the streets. This is true historical facts. Cat mother house did get burnt down. I assumed there was some niggas around his way. Like listen, man. If y'all think the Fat Cat, and they had a crib, I heard, they used to torture niggas. There was some other nigga named McClary. I forgot the nigga that first name. Some nigga named McClary. His last name was McClary. He said he had a basement that he used to torture niggas that ran off of Fat Cat money. You know what I'm saying? Only you Queens niggas know what I'm talking about. Some nigga named McClary. Some last name is McClary. They said, yo, when dudes used to play with Cat money, he'll kidnap you, throw in the back trunk, bring you to the basement, and they put hands and feet on you for like 2-3 days. That's how disciplined the crew was. You know what I'm saying? You read in the paperwork how many females passed away in the local zip code. So I would have thought a brother, cousin, grandfather, or father would have been like, yo, man, we gotta kill your man. You know what I'm saying? His mother's house got firebombed by accident. Nasty work, bro. Yo, with that being said, man, find some legal shit to do. Be happy you made it out the streets. All you guys that's at my age, be happy. You had to go through no shit like that. Hell yeah, New York Boulevard days. Salute the Queens, man. You know what I'm saying? Salute the Queens, man. It's a lot of history right there. Crazy. Crazy. Yo, that's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? But you know what, Glaze? On some G shit, don't be mad at Bimmy, man. Just tell your story like you tell it, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I said, you sound pretty remorseful. It's my sincere videos. You don't sound manipulative. You know what I'm saying? You sound like, you know what I'm saying? You've come up. You come to terms with who you are. You know what I'm saying? You know, most of you Brooklyn niggas is different anyway. Y'all niggas be selling socks and stains and stuff. Y'all niggas is different. So Brooklyn niggas, a rehabilitated Brooklyn nigga always got some sleazeball shit on a jacket. Either stealing socks, stealing commissary lockers, sneakers, stupid shit. Niggas throw rings out there here in the garbage and buckets and stupid shit. Like, no, Brooklyn niggas always got some sleazy shit. Like, seriously, like, it doesn't surprise me that he told on some shit. You know what I'm saying? But because that's just Brooklyn niggas. Brooklyn niggas is, I'm not disrespecting Brooklyn, but you know that average Brooklyn nigga that was outside got some real sleazeball shit on a jacket. Like, think about this. I got beef with you, but I don't like the nigga you fucking with. This is how the hits go. Yo, son, I got an addy for you, son. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else wants something to hit. You know what I'm saying? You hear me? Well, that was his name. The nigga had the basement. The one that had the basement. His last name was McClary. They kept saying McClary. Some nigga on the south side. They said he had big hands. But it wasn't David, because David's locked up. They said the guy died. He wound up passing away. He had a basement. It's either McClary or... Yeah, I think it was McClary. I got to ask why. But they said he had a basement, and the dudes played with either... Yeah, I think it was McClary. He said something McClary, but it wasn't David. Because David McClary locked up, right? This one... He came home, and I think he wanted to... They said he used to torture people, busting in their head. You fuck with Fat Cat money at a basement. I think he's over there somewhere off of Sufton, on them side blocks. But, so Fat Cat made a tight shit. He went up with his work. Yeah. But the guy had a last name McCleary. I gotta ask Wop who he is, Uncle Wop. Shout out to Uncle Wop from the Bricks, you heard? 118th and all that. And he's doing 118th, you know what I'm saying? Uncle Wop. It's crazy, man. Torturing niggas. J-Mo status in the building. So I would, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta be careful, man. You gotta be careful. That 40 Laws of Power shit wasn't in play back then. Niggas was just being diplomatic on their hits, like, you know what I'm saying? Nigga got a motherfucker got a nigga back by passing the wrong address off. That's deep. You know what I'm saying? That's how you get somebody back. Okay. So with that being said, man, if we want to stay on that, man, rest in peace to the people that passed away in that fire. You know, Fat Cat be home a couple of summers from now. We see what Fat Cat got to say. Debbie shouts to everything on the north side, the GM family, the Live Squad, you know, the YGs, the top of the Gunners, you know what I'm saying? Yo, it's a dirty game, man. Shout out to Queens, man. You know, the CY, what's it? CYG, yeah, the CYG or CYC. You know what I'm saying? Or for something. So we here. Plus a host of other crews and cliques and side blocks. Can't forget about Jamaican Politics and Paisley. That being said, y'all have a blessed day. I'll probably tomorrow morning we'll go live again around this time and just come up with it. You know, just different, you know, we got these stories. You know, that's what we call off, call in, we do the stream, y'all, whatever the case may be. Have a blessed day. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for pulling up. Shout out to Teflon Dawn. I spoke to him on the phone. We had a great conversation last night, today. And like you said, we want to keep everything authentic. We can't fabricate. We can't put the remix. We can't look for the cloud chase. We can't do none of that. Even though sometimes, you know, we don't want to name blocks and stuff like that, so you might see another block or another zip code. You have to stick to the script because some dudes will get offended. Nigga, I'm not from Lawrence. I'm from, you know what I'm saying? I'm from over here. You know what I'm saying? Nah, so because you don't want to do because you have to keep it authentic. Dudes ain't here to clout chase you, right? That being said, I'm trying to get Marley Marl back up here, but from the GM family. He grew up in that generation, that era. Shout out to J. Cool, Pipe, Dirty, and all that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the north side. You know what I'm saying? Everything in Lincoln Park on that side of the tracks. Everybody outside. Both sides, Linden. You know what I'm saying? Bino and all of them on Linden and Suffolk. That being said, man, I appreciate you. My man Black. That be on one... That be on Fox, you know, skinny ass Black. He be with hood. It's my man, you know what I'm saying? Mans in them. And the little stonies that be over there on the block. Can't forget about you, my little G's, you know what I'm saying? Can't forget about the young G's. That being said, I appreciate y'all. Love you, wifey. Southern Belle. St. Louis, West Side St. Louis. Peace.